Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be processing drums, then I'll get into a synth using iZotope Neutron 4. 5 is out, I haven't got it yet. Now that I've been using it and I've seen the extra features, I probably will upgrade in the near future. It's weird, I've had it for a while, seen some videos on it, heard all about it, but I've never actually tested it or used it myself. So I've just done that. I was using it in another test session, using it again now. I've deleted everything else, simplified it for the video. I'm impressed with it. I like it because you can stack modules within it instead of having multiple plugins on your chain, which you can still add or subtract either way. It's sort of a one-stop shop. So I've started with the drums. I've used it on the synth. I'll play it all together, turn it on and off so you can hear what it's doing. What I'm excited about is I've sort of found how I'd be using it on my drums. And I've got a fresh project ready to go Monday, mixing down a single for Anima and Motor, local outfit, and I'll definitely be using Neutron 4 on their drums. So nonetheless, let's get into it. I'll turn the processing off and let's have a listen. I'll solo the drums on its own. Just a little hip hop beat. I've got this little synth going. Together. Okay, great. Now I'm going to turn Neutron on and I'll show what I've done in Q3. Let's have a listen. Lovely. It's volume matched as well, so you can hear it a bit more distinctively. So, in Neutron, if you haven't used it or not familiar with iZotope's products in general, you can stack modules within it. It's like having a plug-in chain. And you can arrange that any way you like. In Neutron 4, 2 compressors, equalizer, exciter, gate, sculptor, transient shaper, and unmask. I've started with transient shaper into an EQ with an exciter. And then post that, I've just sort of highlighted the clap part of the loop itself and added a bit of air. On the synth, same sort of thing, similar concept. Let's listen to this raw. We'll turn it back on. Now together with Neutron. Okay, so my approach here was, in Neutron, I'll turn the modules off. Without the transient shaper, you can add bands within it, right? So I've got only 2 bands here. Crossovers at 770. You could play around with this and solo the bands as to taste. I wanted to sort of just bring up the low end. The nice thing about it is on each band, you can play with the attack sustain and choose the slope intensity of it too. So on smooth here, I've just sort of exaggerated the sustain a little bit, but if you play with the attack, I think of it as tightening the low end. So you can sort of really tighten it up and really thin it out, as you can see down here on the display. I was just bringing it up a little bit, same with the sustain, and then top end, more so the sustain and tightening that up. The EQ, bringing some of that back. Idea was to just sort of tighten it up first, then hit the EQ. Sort of just dipping around this range. The clap is around there, and then a small shelf. Very simple. The exciter is what excited me. You know, I'm a fan of saturation and distortion. The cool thing here is it's sort of got this trash module in there. I'm sure you're familiar with trash. But we've got the mix knob too, so you can sort of play with this algorithm and sort of blend it to sort of each different style. I had it more towards the overdrive, but I'll let you hear it. I'll put the mix full just so you can hear. So you can really fold it. I found overdrive and clipper, in this case, are probably my favorites. I was sort of hanging around here though. You can go classic mode as well. You'll see it will change these settings here. You got retro, tape, warm and tube. Bit more traditional, but I'd prefer to hang around here. Dry, wet. Fucking awesome. So obviously playing with that and just sort of tickling it a little bit. And then you got the tone. You can adjust that to taste. So I sort of had the mix hanging around down here. And you know what, I might go clipper. But all off. You hear that clap's obviously a lot tighter, a lot thinner. But there are some artifacts and a bit of the room, bit of noise in there. And I know this is in the context of a full track, right? But I like bringing that out and getting that low end in there. Then after that, you then have the luxury of adding, instead of adding a module in Neutron, you can then go in and add anything extra that you like. In this case, I just sort of dynamic EQ'd that clap region, ducked up here a bit, but then brought the air back in. So collectively, I've just made that low end a bit chunkier and really brought more of the room out, made it a bit more 3D like. It's really bringing out the artifacts in the recording. Same sort of approach with the synth. It was more so to, let's bear. The low end was a bit flabby. So if I turn off, let's click there. I've thinned it out and I have distorted it. This is nice. This, I think of this as sort of like Soothe, basically. That's my approach towards it. You can sort of sculpt. You can see it's automatically fluctuating with the sound, the signal. But then you can control the speed of it and you'll see it's moving a lot faster. And then the tone also. So the idea here was to dial it all the way up to see what it's sort of doing, because it's automatically doing this, right? So I want to see how it's naturally thinking about it. But prior to, when you first load Sculptor, that module, it will prompt you with settings, and you can then go back and change these later. So I had it on orchestral strings high at the moment based on the sound, but obviously you change it to taste. So I am going extreme to hear what it's actually doing to the signal. It is naturally fluctuating that low end, which I wanted to anyway, because it was a bit flabby. And then just controlling it. It's got a lot of movements, very, very natural, which I like. Transient shaper, same sort of thing as the kick approach. And again, you can solo the bands, but more so sustaining what's up here. So you can really thin it out and expand the top. Bring that back down. It's a bit harsh. And then bringing the sustain down on the lower part. Into the exciter, I'm just stuck in the lows again. Keeping these low. That's off, so bringing that up. Just tonally shaping again, but then here I stayed with classic because trash will just rip this apart, and in this case it's not necessary. But again, playing with these is nice, but back to classic. Again, I'll dial this in to really hear each different type. I like the tape, get a bit of a hiss, but then blend that. Again, back down. If we go on tape, you probably would tilt it up this way. And then again, bringing that back in. More so, because I've really excited the drums on the low end, and I got that sort of 3D feel from everything else that was in that drum sample, I am sort of just stuck in the flabbiness of this part and bringing that in. But again, if it's in a full mix project, it's going to be different. So all together. So I've just thinned it out a bit, but again, I've got a compressor here already set up for some side chaining to this drum loop, depending on your taste, but you can, it's quite harsh, but you can open this up, bring back the dry wet, and just let it move around a bit more around those drum hits. And Q3 is doing nothing. So that's how I sort of started playing with it, was geared toward drums, but then obviously you can use that on all those elements. And I like it. It's pretty convenient, especially with my workflow, because what I just showed you, especially on this drum loop, can obviously be achieved without Neutron 4, but just having these modules at the click of a finger, and you can parallel each one. You've got a mix knob on each module. You can move them around within the chain itself. And you know what? This Exciter is fucking magic. Like, I've got the original trash and the new trash, but just having it, and I use it in some of my chains, but having it just here, mixing it in, having the tone, and getting these options between these different styles, wicked. And as you heard, depending on what genre you're working on and your taste, even in your production, you can really make this, you know. And I know in Excite I'm just basically saturating distortion through the trash module, but having these other parts, I like it. You can bring it up, or you can maybe cut the higher end and just excite what you want. Move down there. So there you have it. Neutron 4, probably going to get 5. It's got a clipper in there as its own module, and it's got what's it called? I think it's called Sculpt. Is that right? This doesn't have Sculpt. I think it was. No, it's got Sculpt. It's got something else. I can't remember the name, so I'm going to look into that. But I'm excited to now be using it. I will be using it. I've got a session on Monday ready to go. Tell me if you're using it below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is it in your workflow? If you've never seen it, don't have it, try it out. You might like it. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.